Before I get into this video proper, I think this generation of kids really need to grow a spine, like the ones on YouTube. Because one random kid just, shared my video to his community page. Thanks for the promotion, by the way. And then they went on saying things like, "Oh, I'm not nice to people. I should not be rude to my commenters. I should not call them damn. It is incredibly disrespectful." But here's the thing. If you guys take your time to comment dumb stuff on my videos, you're asking for it. I don't mind people who cannot speak English well. I don't mind people who aren't really that experienced with bus route planning or even just buses in Singapore in general. But what I absolutely cannot stand is people just flat out refusing to learn, or people expecting me to spoon feed them to the core, or people not judging me by my content, instead trying to judge me by the fact that I curse and swear like any other normal adult would. Like, what the fuck? My channel isn't even kid friendly in the first place, so I don't know why the fuck they're even there in the first place. See, I'm not saying kids shouldn't watch my videos or anything, but as much as I understand that, oh, there are younger audiences and stuff like that, I also need them to understand that we are adults and sometimes we just swear. It's a thing. And it's not like the entire video would be consisting of 99 minutes of swearing or anything. If it's really 99 minutes of swearing, I would probably be demonetized. I mean, that video would probably have been demonetized by now. I could make an effort to not swear, but if you want to impose that on me, you guys need to use your brains and not comment stupid stuff. Alright? Because some of the things that those people comment are really concerning. So, quote unquote, okay, what quote unquote? I mean, if you are the kind who wants to be like a goody two shoes, that school prefect that is annoying, or you just want to be a good quote unquote Christian kid, then don't watch my videos. I'm not forcing you to watch my videos, okay? You could just ignore whatever I say, and I could at the same time ignore whatever you guys say as well. But you guys pinning the expectation that, oh, I have to be an angel, I have to be nice to my commenters even when they're saying stupid stuff. It's quite outrageous, really. Although genuinely, if you have experience in the Singapore bus community, you would realize you would quickly realize that some people are just beyond hope. And that's where the cursing and swearing part inadvertently comes in. Thank you for hearing my speech. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I've already banned one user because they were just commenting stupid things and not improving, blue ticking me, stalking my IRL or online activity. So I found it creepy, and that's why I no longer allowed them to comment. That's it. If you know, you know. So today's video is about 506. Now, I have often reminded people about the fact that 506 is not part of DTL rationalization. I've told people the whole story. I've told people about the plan to send it to BIDADARI, I mean Woodley interchange, but I don't know if they're still implementing it or they're genuinely trying to withdraw 506 because of declining popularity and the express fare deterrence, blah blah blah. But what I haven't really talked about is what was 506 demand like before the whole lose popularity thingy happened to 506. So to recap, right? BCM was pretty much the final nail in the coffin for 506, and the reasons cited, and the three reasons cited for its decrease in popularity over time was because they introduced 46, and it pretty much took away all the demand that was coming from Bedok South to Bedok Reservoir MRT, and vice versa as well. Like they relied on 46 to, like the short distance packs, they relied on 506, but now they rely on 46. The next reason is because 985 didn't have the express fare deterrence. Like this thing charges trunk fares, this thing charges express fares, so it's quite self-explanatory. And obviously the other reason was because OTA, so which makes this thing slow and this thing fast in comparison to each other. So yeah, these are the reasons. But what I haven't really gone into is before all these OTA nonsense even kicked in, like 506 even gained double deckers for a reason. Like over the years. Not immediately, but like somewhere around like the early 2010s, they actually decided to put double deckers on 506. And obviously, again, this was before the OTA nonsense, the 506 is slow thingy, they all kicked in. So I'm gonna be talking about where was 506 demand like actually coming from. So before that, you also have to realize that there were three iterations of 506. There was one to Bedok, there was one to Changi Airport, then it got cut back to Bedok, and then there's one to Upper East Coast. This one was the one that got kind of like killed off by 46. And then this one, the same reason why 989 was withdrawn, PIE congestion, they found it not worth it. So for a period of time, they just kept it at Bedok, which essentially meant that this thing was kind of like a faster version of Service 66. I mean, now this thing isn't even present in Bedok anymore. It used to be present in Tampines, but now it's not even present in Bedok. Okay, so 506, it was like this. So pretty much everybody that took 506 long distance, they originated from anywhere along the black lines, to put it simple. So whatever I'm like drawing with like the black line now, you can take it that I'm not saying that there were a lot of people taking it long distance, but I'm just saying that there were people actually taking long distance. Like this is just based on like anecdotal evidence, but like one of my friends, he said that one of his friends used to take 506 direct from like Bedok. I forgot if it was like Bedok South or Bedok North all the way to Bukit Batok to visit relatives, and ever since 506 was no longer in Bedok South or Bedok North anymore. I mean, when I mean Bedok North, I mean Bedok North Avenue 3. When 506 no longer went there, the friend basically stopped visiting the relative altogether. Like it was that bad. And reminder again that 506 has got nothing to do with DTL rationalization at all. I've already repeatedly told people the reason, so if you still think it is part of it, I'm not gonna stop you. I'll just say you're dumb. If you get offended by this one simple statement that's not even derogatory, it's your problem, not mine. All I'm doing is speaking my mind without actually trying to offend people. So here's the thing, like I used to take 506 a lot. Like I took it to Toa Payoh for tuition. Like I even took it all the way to like Kaki Bukit Industrial Park C. So from this bus stop here, I had a lot of options. I could take 58 to Pasir Ris. If I wanted a quicker option into Bedok, I could take 60. I could take 87. To Pasir Ris, I could even take 15. And then I could transfer to 59 either at Toa Payoh or at Kaki Bukit. And then, oh, if I wanted to go to like Pasir Ris East, I had like 21 and stuff like that. So 506 existence at Kaki Bukit Industrial Park C was actually important because of the number of buses you could hub spoke to. Again, what really killed off 506 was really the express fare. It was technically SBS' fault for making this service express in the first place, which made this service unpopular and it basically didn't stand the test of time. Yo, I just realized this color is like similar to the express branding back then. I really miss that desto. So many people were curious because they didn't really understand the purpose of 506. So they asked me, hey, what's the purpose of 506? Like, where do people from Bedok Reservoir actually take it to? And why is it so important that we need to restore the link from Bedok Reservoir to the west? Like, you all know the 985 rumors. I don't even know if this thing is going to come true, but I'm just saying this is something that they are floating around in the internal discussions. Whether it comes true or not, I have no idea. But I'm just saying that this is a thing that legit exists. I mean, the internal discussions. Not the publicly accessible stuff. Lorong 6 Toa Payoh and Trellis are quite self-explanatory. It's also a major hub spoke point. I mean, the bus stop, so I'm not gonna dwell into that. Let's just focus on the west. Okay, so this was the exact same thing that like I told one of my friends who questioned me about 506. So minimally, you needed to call the bus stop pair outside Burgundy. That way you could hub spoke from like 106, etc. The reason why I even brought this up was because I told them like the ultra cut cost option to restore 506 link to the west is to let it terminate inside Bukit Batok Depot. But you see, the problem with this is that it's not doorstep enough. You're forcing people to hub spoke at this bus stop. And why 506 even had demand in the first place? I'm not saying that there was like a lot of demand, but the reason why 506 even had like some form of demand in the first place was because it was doorstep. And when I mean doorstep, I mean like along the entire Bukit Batok East Avenue 3. And then my friend asked me, is it possible to send it to East Avenue 6 instead? Which is a good question. So ever since like 989's withdrawal, this part of like Bukit Batok East Avenue 6 was pretty much like, I mean, there was like 189 here. And why was there even 189 here? Okay, historically 189 was 106 between Buona Vista to Bukit Batok. I mean, like, you know, nowadays this connection is done by 106, like the straight line option. But before 106 was even extended to Bukit Batok, like it used to terminate at like Ulu Pandan, somewhere around there, Ulu Pandan Road. But this connection used to belong to 189. So eventually, of course, 189 was shortened from like Marina Center and then to like West Coast Ferry Terminal area, and then eventually 106 covered the straight sectors of 189, and basically 189 started winding like this. And in the process, it absorbed the old feeder service 366. So yes, this side has 189, but this side used to only have 989. Nowadays, you have 66 and 990, which is like a good thing. But I'm just telling you that for many years, like this portion was actually devoid of buses. But why am I even saying all this? It's because my friend asked me if it was advisable to send 506 towards here. Now, as you can see, this is kind of like a similar argument to 273, one of my other videos. But basically, it's like one part of it is industrial, one part of it is like residential. on this side you have both residential. But the reason why 506 was like good at Bukit Batok East Avenue 3 is because you have residential here, residential here, residential here, residential here, residential here, residential here. This one is a hill, so obviously you're not able to build anything there. There's the MRT tunnel as well. Hub spoke, amenities here. Polyclinic, residential, 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 school, school, a little bit of residential. So the really simple reason for 506 going along this corridor as opposed to like this corridor is because the central hub is here. And then there's way more residential catchment. Whereas if you go by the blue one, it's like there's industrial here and then there's not much like residential catchment as opposed to like, okay, to help you guys visualize, right? I'm just going to, so these are the areas that you are like serving if you send 506 along this corridor. But if you send it along Bukit Batok East Avenue 3, you are actually covering like way more people. Like I'm gonna say around here. You just have like way more coverage along this area. And when you get coverage, what do you take advantage of? Doorstep. Okay, by the way, doorstep is not an official term, but it's something that is like invented by me so that I could better explain things to you all. So yeah. So this means that if you really want a new variation of 506 to succeed, you have to restore the links. From here all the way up till Kaki Bukit Industrial Park C. The issue that like commuters nowadays face is that they needed to hub spoke to like service 5, they needed to hub spoke to like 59 if they even wanted to access like the east in general, like Tampines, Avenue 2, Avenue 7, Simei, Flora, Parseris East. So again, like this connectivity, this connection, it still exists today. But by amending 506 away from Kaki Bukit Industrial Park C, it means that you lose the access to like direct access to like a lot of these other services. 60/87 and most importantly 58. So going from Bukit Batok to Parseris is actually kind of a pain. Geographically, it's not really advisable to take East-West line, especially if you're not guaranteed a seat. Okay, but to put it simply, the reason why 506 is even needed at this place is because you need all the hub-spoke connectivity to these other bus services. Right now, you only have 5 and 59. So if you wanted to access like Kaki Bukit Industrial Park C, you could no longer take 506 direct. You needed like to change to 5 or 59, and both of them do not have the best frequencies on earth. And then you would have to transfer to these bus services to even access Kaki Bukit Industrial Park C, which contains like all of these bus services. So basically from 0 transfers to like 1 or on average like 2 transfers. This is a reason why the amendment wasn't well received by people, because you're adding 1 to 2 transfers for no reason, like no justified reason. So to keep it simple, 506 is pretty much needed along this entire stretch of road. I mean, once upon a time, I once floated, what if 506 actually goes here instead? Then I was like, no, you're breaking the link between these areas, which is essential. But I will once again say that 506, as of this point in time, is pretty much useless at Jurong East. Like, you got 66. I know 66, like nowadays, it actually goes here, here. I know, but there is 66. There is 870 that actually covers this part between Jurong East and this area. And there is also this thing called 993, which serves Boon Lay Way, serves Jurong Town Hall Road, actually goes inside here, and then, if I'm not mistaken, it goes here and here. So, between Jurong East and Bukit Batok, to put it simply, let's not even count 66. The fact that, like, you already have alternatives, and not just one, there's like two alternatives in the form of 870 and 993, means that you no longer need 506 at Jurong East if you're thinking of amending it. So there are two options. You could choose Bukit Batok Road. You could choose Bukit Batok West Avenue 8 as well. And then West Avenue 8, West Avenue 6, and then you make your way inside Tengah. However you choose to do it is completely up to you, but I'm just saying that's the reason why I and like quite a few other people have been floating this suggestion. Now, this is not official, but I'm just saying that's the reason why we have been saying all this. And when people ask me how was 506's demand like before BCM, here's your answer. It's up to this point. This is pretty much the last useful stop of 506. Because to be honest, right, you want to go down to Jurong Town Hall Road, you already have 157. Or if you're coming from here, you already have like 993. Which again, it already existed during the 160M era. Again, this is not related to the video, but this also shows that 506 is only really useful up till this point. You have all the schools here. And many students rely on 506. That's all I will say. Now, in case you guys forgot what was my suggestion regarding 506, right? My suggestion was basically PIE, Jalan Yunos, Bedok Reservoir Road as well. And then you send it up here, and you basically, like, how do you market this service? You pitch this service to Temasek Poly, let it go Tampines Avenue 4, because I don't want to deal with like the congestion that arises from these two bus stops. There are way too many bus services here, but for good reason. All the new bus services, like, 129, yada yada yada. So I'm gonna send 506 up here. I do not want to deal with like the congestion at this junction, like this. So I'm like, okay, send it up Tampines Avenue 5. The mosque is here, and then you send it up Tampines Avenue 6. Go all the way up till Tampines North Interchange. And make this thing a trunk service. So this was my idea. But again, like what they are discussing internally right now is that, okay, if you want to withdraw 506, you gotta make 985 at the very least. Go inside, I know it's not accurate, but like go inside Toa Payoh Lorong 6 to compensate the loss of 506. It's quite simple. And then whether this actually exists or not, whether 506 actually survives the test of time or not, basically, in the past, there was a plan by SMRT to cut 95 to Toa Payoh, citing there's already service 31, but PTC rejected that in the past, citing people still needed that doorstep link towards Boon King from like Beauty World and like Bukit Batok West Avenue 2475 and I don't know, Teck Whye, Choa Chu Kang, blah blah blah. So that was like PTC's reasoning. But right now LTA, PTC no longer has control. So now it's LTA's turn to control the bus services. I mean, ever since 2016, right? I mean, nowadays the team now is actually pretty decent. It's not like last time where they were so focused on chopping this, chopping that, chopping this, chopping that. But basically, the idea is pretty much the same. If people want to go down here to like Boon King Road, Lorong 1 Geylang, you tell them to take 31. Again, I do not know if this will materialize or not, but basically, you send 95 along here. Okay, to be more precise, you send it along St. Andrew's Slip Road and Jalan Koyam Air, which has service 23. So I told you guys that the reason why 95 does not need to call Temasek Poly is because there's already 23. And then there's already this as well. Like this, conceptually. Then obviously, it's still in the really early stages of discussion. And it's not like every single day they would be discussing about this, but it's more of like, hey, what should we do this? If we have nothing else to do, we've like fulfilled all our other things in the agenda list of things to do, then we would think about this. Like, just spend some time every day before we end work. We'll just take time to like ponder about this thing. So it's quite kind of like a casual suggestion, but it's also kind of like serious in a way. Like they are actually seriously considering all of these. So then I was like, okay, there is like the Budok Reservoir thingy, and then there is a PIE Simei Avenue. Then there is like Tampines Avenue 1, Simei Avenue, or just PIE all the way to Changi Airport. Whether it's like terminals 1 to 4 or terminal 5, I have no idea, but basically what I was trying to suggest, because I do know that people from PTO and LTA actually watch my videos, not all of them, but some of them. So, okay, if you want to take ideas from me, go ahead. So, I basically pitched like 95 to IT College East. So, the reason, okay, I know I have been saying, okay, Tampines North to Tengah and stuff like that, but technically, if they want to withdraw this, I have no qualms. Like, I don't really care because this service is like pretty much useless nowadays. So I was like, why not you guys focus on 95 instead of whatever we discuss about 506? Again, I'm just, the more I yap, the more I'm going off topic. But the reason why I'm going off topic is because like it all ties in together. Like, we could talk as much about 506 as we want, but if it's quote unquote eventual fate is withdrawal, then we kind of have to shift our attention to 95 instead, you know? Because ultimately, you still have to compensate the people inside Lorong 6 Topayo and, yeah, this entire area, basically. So, no matter how much like intel I have, whether 95 will really become the new whether 95 will really become the new 506, as of this point in time, I really don't know.